Alright, welcome back to Demon Lord 2099 Anime Review, episode number 2. In this episode, we're discussing episodes 3 and 4 for the series. Excuse me. So, Takashi, that's the hacker character who debuted for episode 1, who got named episode 2, suggests the Demon Lord should become a streamer, which it kind of sets up at the end of that last episode. Goes. By the way, in the background behind the wall, I thought this was really interesting. So on this guy's wall, on this bar, there is a keyboard, a desktop computer keyboard, a floppy disk, a couple CDs. There is a Game Boy Advance, a Game Boy DS. There's what looks like to be a laptop on the wall. I'm like, wow, a lot of some of that stuff is people still use. Heck, there's even a VHS tape on the wall. I'm like, a VHS tape, damn. So Takashi sets up basically a streaming desk, computer, all the equipment at Maka's apartment, and of course, he has a strict rule, so you can't talk. If you talk to, you have to talk very quietly, walk quite quietly, because it's very thin wall apartment. And he plays a combat-based game that he sucks at. Yes, he sucks at the game. Where he proceeds to get a lot of streamers, basically a lot of subscribers, 1 million subscribers, and that really gives a power boost, apparently. So after a while, he proceeds to go out and go out for a walk, because he can't be cool himself all day long. And then he runs into Graham, a guy he's not seen in terms of the anime, not since the first episode of the series. In terms of the book, he probably hasn't seen since the start of the book. Because the first book is, by the way, the anime covers the first 2 light novels of the 5-volume light novel series. Though for some reason here they've only released the first 3. Not sure why, but that's kind of how it is. So they just, Graham. And they have some udon, they chat. They feel the reason why the heck he's still alive. Apparently the goddess gave him the blessing of eternal youth. After a while, people just kind of forgot about him. He became completely useless. Apparently people almost try to hunt him because apparently he's still around. He's not immortal. He just basically just has eternal youth. They explain the whole thing of the dispute between... they do kind of show a backstory for him. Apparently he had a sick sister where he basically went out and now his sister in the anime, they don't really name her per se. No. Let's see if I can find it here. Because I heard the voice from that sounds familiar. And by the way, this is only episode 3 or 4 that it shows up in. Because I was kind of surprised that some people who were in the series, aside from me hearing, yeah, I know about that one. Graham is voiced by Dio Gardner. Who the heck he is? I don't know. Marcus by Rob McKellar, excellent actor. Let's see. Graham's sister, they do not name her at all. Who actually is their voice actress? They have Corey Pritt. She voices Graham's mom. Yes. A lot of the characters do not get voice actors per se. They're not really credited. When I heard the voice, I thought this voice seemed familiar, but Hmm. No, I don't think it was Lucy Christian. I think it may have been some other character. I don't know who voiced, or her name is Mina. Yeah, there's no credit for English dub actor. I don't really know why. Hmm. I wonder if she shows up in the series. So, I think they have Lila McKay as the voice. So Takashi is voiced by Nia Castelli. Yes, she's not been active very long. She's only been active just for since 2020. She was in Tutsumunchi Moon the Fantasy anime I saw last year. Firing, I saw it just recently. She's Mimi Supreme Kai in Dragon Ball Daima. Interesting. Fairly Frame, this series. The Wrong Use Healing Magic. And that's it. So, yeah, I've never met before. Honestly. Dio Gardner. He's been active for like a couple years now. He's the voice of Senkaharu from One Piece. I think he replaced the original one. He was in My Hero, Bahrain. This series, obviously. That's it. Like 2 series for him. Yeah. Yeah. So after basically, so after talking with Graham for a while, then he leaves. He's not seen again for quite a while. He doesn't do anything per se. So he has a sword with him, the same sword that he killed the Demon Lord in the first episode. Except it looks like it's like degrading. Yeah, I thought this was kind of weird. So then later on, after this particular meeting, he sees Sakashi again, where she is being told off by who guy was supposed to be her bodyguard, an ogre, and of course, the Demon Lord, who apparently has the power of 1 million subscribers, proceeds to beat the crap out of the guy, and they go on a job together to steal something from the Yakuza. Yes, the Yakuza. Or the Yakuza, how you pronounce their name. You know, the Japanese gangster organization, which, not surprising, because it's sort of a futuristic version of modern Japan. So, not surprised to see them. I don't see them in many anime, per se. No. And, and of course, they happen to have Logos' device looking for. So he tries to look for a device. So he just proceeds to punch Zordon, beat the crap out of everybody. And apparently they're after this particular cube. And after, then of course, have to be a robot, which apparently is from the same company that makes. I think it's explained this is supposed to be Marcus's company, but they don't expect Marcus himself, but just his company is involved. So they look on the actual thing. It's a list of mortal subjects, and is Marcella herself on there? No, she's not on the list. He made his list for some reason, and then they go meet up with basically her client, the one who hired her for the job. He lives in this weird looking apartment building where it has 13 floors. Normally buildings don't usually have 13 floors because 13 is a cursed number. Even hotels don't have 13 floors. You know, the first floor, second floor, 4th, 17. So it was really weird. And Bentley, like, it's for security reasons. Of course, then they arrive and the walls of this place look so bizarre. Like, what is up with this design? By the way, the building is like kind of curved, and the apartment, the walls themselves, like, I don't know, because I don't remember if now, as far as I remember, the book doesn't specifically describe this apartment, and I don't know if they took this inspiration from the manga, if I read the manga yet, but the way the design looks of this apartment interior reminds me a little bit of it reminds me of the apartment from Predator 2. That's what it reminds me of. Yeah, the apartment used by the drug lord who was killed by the Predator in the movie. He his apartment looked the walls of his apartment looked very similar to this place. And of course, like, oh, there might be traps. He looks around like, nope, traps were there, but they've been disabled. And they proceed to easily go in his apartment. And then they go inside. Like, the way it's like, there's like a wall there. They go around. And there he is, sitting in his chair. Like, oh, you think he's asleep? No, he's dead. And apparently he's been stabbed 3 times. And apparently, so Demo examines the blood. He looks at the moisture. So he determines he's been dead for a week. And after some determination how long ago he hired Takashi. So he determines that because she has spoken to him, and since he's been dead for a week, and that's how long she's working for him. So he determines that he was probably killed after he hired her by this mysterious assassin. So, and of course, basically, like, something was going on that he was basically hiding this information for. And mentioned by someone called the Immortal Furnace. What the heck he is? Excuse me. So, then of course they find his laptop, and apparently it still has juice. And I think it's some ancient device that people use them. People still use laptops nowadays. Sorry again. So, you really have to go through all the crash files. The camera was one video file. I forgot to mention this last episode. They have the building that was used in the movie Entrapment. Yes, a building that was in Japan. It's this H-shaped building, which is glowing purple. They show this off in the first episode. I'm like, why is it glowing purple? And then this episode 4 basically explains why. Apparently, it sits on top of this reactor known as the Immortal Furnace. Yuck. What is Immortal Furnace? Well, basically they explain that apparently immortals are being kidnapped and forced in this furnace in order to power the whole city of Sengoku, which in real life, I believe this place, I don't know if it's a city or it's a ward of Tokyo. I'm not really sure. I've heard the name before. Yeah, I think I've heard also Jujutsu Kaisen as well. That was just but basically it's a common Japanese. It's usually used in a lot of modern day Japanese anime. It's anime said modern day. So they explain like this thing powers the whole city by with ether line, but how you power the whole city with only 2 ley lines. So they use immortals because the spiritual power is more powerful than immortal. They put them in this furnace and it powers the whole city. And apparently the first person they got was, well, one of the Demon Lord's vessels. Which I didn't know what the heck it was. Apparently he was offered. So apparently if in fact the power runs out, that means that, like, if the immortal dies, then the city runs out of power. I'm like, that's interesting. And there's a possibility Marcus himself having to be responsible for it. Just like how he's responsible for the familiar thing, and that's people's necks. Very good video presentation. Apparently he made this video probably just immediately just after he hired Takashi. He hired a friend of his basically looking at this. So he probably made this video that they're showing off in the episode. Probably made it. He hires her, makes the video, then he gets killed. Okay, that's probably what happened. They wouldn't say immediately per se, but I would say, because they say basically it's like not long after. So this video was probably made in that small time period between from the moment he hired Takashi until he was murdered. Very good video presentation. And it's like if the whole thing in the comic says, if you see this video, I'm probably dead. It's a common thing, and not only Japanese anime, this also happens in American anime as well. American cartoons, like my cartoons, real life. This is nothing unusual. This is perfectly. In the case of Japanese anime, this particular thing doesn't happen very often. Very rarely ever does. Yep. And of course, they take the laptop, but it's like, hey, they want to leave the pilot like it's less contact like a city guard. And of course, Demon was like, that's fine. And then they proceed to leave. But something else is going on in the episode. Well, still 2 good episodes. I thoroughly enjoyed them. And I'm basically 4 episodes in. So, in the case of basically my anime, I'm going to save for tomorrow. But, okay, so, unless, of course, on the girlfriends. So, this can pretty much be a particular video. So, okay, so, basically, in the case of tomorrow, unless our girlfriend gets released by the time we get home from church tomorrow, yeah, unless that gets released, I'm probably gonna go ahead and watch. Well, I left my Revenge Party, the join my forward to explore Dungeon Deaths. Watch on our girlfriends probably. I probably won't watch the next episodes until after I get all my anime done, because basically to get into the other 2, I'm now up to about 5 anime that I'm working on tomorrow. Yeah, fine, whatever. But I'm also doing some shopping tomorrow. But I'm going to try to get done all 5 anime. But the orders are going to be first, either be 100 Girlfriends, or I left Eric Carter to show my former student exploit Dungeon Deaths. I'll get those all the way first. Then I'll do from Old Country Bumpkin, to Master Swordsman. And I think after that, probably could be One Piece and the case closed. And then that might be it. Depends. But that's probably going to be ordered for tomorrow. Okay. But hoping to get everything done. And hopefully, in the case of when I get to My Hero Vigilantes, will probably air in Tuesday, episode 2. Hopefully, I'm not waiting to Wednesday to watch it. I hope not. Yep. But yeah, that's particularly a particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. And I will see you all tomorrow for more anime and comic course. Bye.